Okay, class. I'm going to elaborate a bit on, actually it's one of the readings that we have in week 4. It's a science fiction piece by Larry Niven. I made reference to it as it's the first of a trilogy of Ringworld trilogy, and it's science fiction. I added this as a reading for 2 reasons. One was I think it's good to expand our horizons out of purely academic pedagogy and talking about leadership and seeing again how it's applied, in this case into science fiction literature. I have a theory about science fiction, and it's actually inspired from something I read in an old TV guide of all places, that as a genre, science fiction is the only moral literature that we have left. So it was in that spirit that I picked up, and actually was also inspired by the Ringworld trilogy, that there was a character, a different species creature, that was embracing the values of what we can call the herd. And when you think about it, the first in a herd culture that senses danger bolts. Now, is that a leader? Because by bolting, they are flagging and sending that message to everybody else that there is danger, we need to leave. And then by the direction in which they are fleeing, the rest of the herd follows. So it's an interesting take on an idea of leadership. If your value system is first and foremost that of survival, then the idea of being the first to bolt might be considered a trait of leadership. But there's a second part to this, and that gets into the character embedded in the story, and that's the person who is designated as the hindmost. And again, they happen to, in a sense, display leadership traits in that, in some sense, they're the last one to leave the ship, kind of like the captain is supposed to do when there's an emergency, when the ship is being abandoned. So you have these 2 sides of that kind of dynamic that are an interesting take on the concept of leadership, and show how flexible, how culturally flexible, how value system flexible the idea of leadership can be. It's an interesting idea to play with. One of the nice things about science fiction is that it is intended to kind of challenge assumptions and expand our views of things. So this is an example of that. I don't know if you're absolved from actually doing the reading now, but I did want to kind of stake out what the intention was by that reading. We all have, as educators, the intention of getting a lesson across. What is actually accepted on the other end is sometimes speculative. Sometimes people get the wrong, the wrong message, or the unintended message. So I did want to make that part clear as you enter into that reading. Otherwise, there's kind of 2 other aspects of that, and I will be touching upon that a little bit later on. But it is a good point of departure for us to expand what our sense of leadership is. Like I said, it's a big topic, and studies of leadership can expand well beyond a single course. So this is just one more take on that. Thanks.